boy, I just can't get enough. I had to come back. I had to come back. I had to come back. You know, sometimes when you have a young couple who they have a pretty heavy argument and they break up, or they say they're breaking up, and I'm never coming back to you again. And all of a sudden they go back together again. I just couldn't live without you. You're my honey bunch. You're my honey bun. You know I love you. Well, that's what it was. Who knows? I might just work all through the night. I feel really good. I am fatigued. I do still have some hours of work to do behind the scenes and distribution and editing and all that stuff. But, you know, the focus up here in the mountains is tremendous. And a friend of mine had just told me, it's like, it's amazing how you have this tremendous sense of recall. Like, what are you talking about? He says, you remember things from back in the 70s from when we first met, every little detail. I said, well, my mind is sharp. I keep it active. And the bottom line is that, you know, when you speak to people, or if you've ever had, it's not the privilege, right? It's not a good thing. But if you've ever been incarcerated, hopefully not, but if you have for a sizable amount of time, maybe, just maybe, right? You go through this thing because you're away from your natural environment and you begin to remember things that are behind everything else. And that's the funny thing about it. Like, you really will remember things. But you see, when you're out there hustling and bustling and making ends meet, doing well, but just caught up in life and the everyday chores and things you have to do, well, guess what? Those things sit over like a template over the really minute details of your life. But even still, in my life, living life and earning money and paying bills and taking care of responsibilities, I just never seem to forget certain things, right? I always take snapshots. And one thing that helped me this way, to have a tremendous sense of recall, which has helped me in my telling of my experiences and my stories, is that when I'm in the moment, I'm in the moment. You know, so many people are not in the moment. They're distracted. There's so many things running through their head. They don't enjoy the beauty of the moment. I've always been able to enjoy the beauty of the moment, even when there's chaos around me. Not that I think that there's beauty in chaos, but there are things to learn with the different energy levels around you, because I look at things on a multifaceted level, you see? So that's what has helped me. And I can entertain myself. Peaceful Pulley, the first in. Yes, I'm glad to see you here, my brother. It's good. Texas in the house, right? I didn't forget. Anyway, yeah, that's why I titled this, Reality is the Needle That Will Always Burst That Bubble of Fantasy. Because not only are we distracted, but oftentimes we find ourselves in this fantasy world, a perpetual fantasy world. Like, okay, I create content. I'm no better than anybody else. I just like doing this. And I'm glad that many who vibe here with me like what we do, right? But I can't do it without you. I vibe and have conversations, stimulating conversations, things that help me to expand my mind. And I'm going to tell you the real reason why I had this topic come up. It was in my head. I got like 15, 20 ahead of time topics in my head, but the conversation that I had earlier really brought it on home. And I'll tell you that in a second. But social media, television, movies, I mentioned it on the show before with Brother Neil Frazier, Metamorphosis, that these things clog our heads up. And we're bombarded with so much stuff coming at us. It's like we got to get an ad blocker for everything. The ads popping up there. Everything is jockeying for our attention. You know, you get notifications online. That's why you're here. You've seen this thing. You pop in, you say, okay, Scurv is on. I'm going to check him out. If he's too corny, if he's too boring, there's other things competing for my attention. I have no problem with that. If I sell Chinese food, if I sell Italian food, if I sell soul food, if I sell Jamaican food, I can't expect everybody in the world to always come to my restaurant. You know, they'll miss the restaurant. Go on around and do the round robin and circulate. And when you come here, it's because you want to be here. You see what I mean? But because of this, and that phenomenon, if you can remember back in the 70s, if you can, maybe somebody here wasn't born in the 70s. Brother Landon, yes, we on fire. I told you we on fire. We're going to be on fire. I'm going to wake up with it. I'm going to go to bed with it. I might get up in the middle of the night to go pee-pee and decide to do it live for 5 minutes. Who knows? You know what I mean? I mean, if Mike Tyson can come back at this age, right? I mean, we know it's an exhibition match, but the gall, the righteous gall to say, I'm going back in the ring, even though this guy is half my age, I'm going to do it. When you see older people who are much older than me holding things down, what's my excuse? I got to do what I'm put here to do. And it wasn't like when I was born, the creator said, well, you're going to go into the world and go on YouTube. That's too small for me. I'm not saying I'm not bigger than YouTube as far as certain aspects are concerned. What I'm saying is that this is just the platform and a vehicle to share stories and experiences. That's what it's all about. But we got to be realistic. And if you can remember back into the 70s, every time there was a Bruce Lee movie that came out, everybody wanted to learn karate. Everybody wanted to do the martial arts. Every time there was a Rocky movie that came out, everybody wanted to box, especially those Italian guys in the Italian neighborhoods. Hey, Rocco! They went from being an overnight warehouse worker to being a heavyweight champ in the world in their mind, and usually walked away with a bloody nose. That's funny. But I'll say it again. Reality is the needle that will always burst that bubble of fantasy. Now, there are realistic things that we know we can do, that we have talents for, and it's realistic to pursue them. Now, I'm not saying it's not realistic to go after your dreams, because I just finished saying on Metamorphosis show, you must go after your dreams. You must go after the things that you have inside you as far as your vision. But there's some people who may be a little delusional, and sometimes they prove us wrong, right? But some things, we are not going to see a little person, AKA a midget, try out for the NBA to be a professional basketball player. Come on. We're not going to see that 85-year-old man who still runs marathons go into a boxing ring and box somebody who's 20 years old and beat them. It's not going to happen. You're 85 years old, man. Come on. But it doesn't mean he can't be a CEO of a company, because he has a long range of memory in certain markets that he can offer realistic advice, right? So we get in where we fit in. But what really had me talk about this topic, and I have other things to talk about behind it, because, you know, when you talk about one topic, it opens the doors for other topics. Well, we were speaking about, Mr. Scurv and I, we were speaking about being over here in Ghana. And we were speaking about how many here fantasize or put on a pedestal that wonderful place called America. And it's not my job here to discourage anybody. But when I have different conversations with maybe a cab driver or somebody on the Trotro, the van, or maybe at the mall, they spot me. Hey, LANCESCURV, man, tell me about America. I don't just come with negative things, but I come with reality. And sometimes the things that I say show me that I have become that needle that bursts the bubble of fantasy. Because many here and many other places, other African countries, other countries that are not African, of all cultures and races across the world, they've been taught by the media, social media, sometimes people that have visited there, that America is utopia. The same goes for the UK. And usually what they talk about and how they talk about it, it's way off from reality. So in our conversation, Mr. Scurv and I were talking about how many here, and I'm going to bring it down to just Ghana, but it's everywhere else, many other places, how they think that money is falling off of trees. How they think that you can just go into a dealership and be a nice guy or a nice woman and just drive out with a brand new car. Like, you probably work 3 or 4 hour days and get paid 10 times more than what you get paid here. And all I want to say is that it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. And I'm sorry to burst your bubble. But when you get there, unlike here where many people, they have their side hustles, and if they say they're going to show up to your home to perform some type of task or do something, 9 o'clock, I'll be there. 11:45, they're not here yet. Then you get a call at 1:30. Oh, something came up this morning. I'm not going to make it. This is not everybody, but there is a general lackadaisical attitude. And these are the same people who want to go to America to become successful. And I'm not going to say you can't do it. And it all depends on what you consider to be successful. For me to have myself to myself and have time to pursue the things that I want to do and have peace of mind to enjoy my thoughts, take my time and do what I want to do. Well, it's called retirement. But still, it's not just retirement where I'm just going to sit down in a rocking chair with a remote control and watch old reruns from the 70s. To me, that's death. I'm not working myself, working my mind, working my body, because I've never followed the dictates of what society says. I dance to the beat of my own drama. Many people, oftentimes in this life, haven't really understood me. And I didn't care if they didn't understand me. They will understand me sooner or later. Folks that I was crazy for moving to West Africa. Man, you got a beautiful home out there in Orlando, Florida. Why you want to leave that to start all over? And start out on a couple plots of land where there's nothing, where you know nobody, where you're going out there on your own. On your own. Some bozo told me that a couple of years ago. You're on your own. Who died made you God, right? I think I'm doing quite well. But anyway, we got into it deep. That to go to this place called America, especially if you're going to go to the bigger cities, you better be pretty much ready to work. Be on time, be studious, budget, handle your money right. Because oftentimes you're going to make more money than what you make over here in Ghana, but you're going to find oftentimes, and maybe not, maybe you'll luck out and get something good, that you're merely the middleman for the employer, between the employer and the bill collector. And the game is to make more money than what you spend out. But oftentimes you'll find that the money you make is just enough, and what you have left over for yourself is not enough. Here comes the second job. Now the money is going up. $15 to work in a fast food restaurant, $15 an hour, soon to be $20. But that dollar is impotent. Like that middle-aged man in a nightclub with women half his age, flirting with them and trying to tell them what he can do behind closed doors in the bedroom. And he finally convinces him, and he gets in there and flops. This is why, fellas, when you get to a certain age, don't make a fool of yourself, because they're going to get money out of you and you're going to flop. Not that I'm saying you're a paymaster, but a lot of us are walking around with stuff in our head. A lot of us are walking around with real potential, real seeds of greatness that we ignore because what we have in our head doesn't match what we have on the inside, that our Creator put on the inside. And to me, that's somewhat of a crime and very much a sin. Because this world distracts us and takes us out of ourselves, and we don't look within to fall in love with the seeds of greatness that we have inside of us. You see, that's a big thing. And for me, we all pursue things and go after things and try to make things happen. And we figure out, well, I may not have a talent for this, but there are some who refuse. They don't care about the obvious. They don't care about those warning signs that are screaming at them, those red flags. that are saying, hey, you got a great talent for this. Why are you beating this down? You know how many boxers had to get beat down a couple times before they realized that they really don't have a talent for that? It's okay to say, you know what? Maybe I'm not cut out for this. Let me try other things. Many times, growing up, my parents, and I thank the Creator for them, every day they've transitioned and gone on to a higher, their energy is elsewhere, but it's still inside of me. They exposed me to many things. Now they knew that I wasn't going to take to everything, like everything, have a gift in everything. Well, I was gifted in pretty much of the things that I was exposed to, but there was so much to try out that what they were doing was exposing me to so much so that I knew what it was that I liked and what I didn't like compared to what was on the inside of me. But I liked a lot of things. And for me, I feel that I have any talents that people don't even know about. And it's the same thing with you. Whatever it is that you have a talent for, there are other talents on the inside of you that you don't know about. So we don't have to let a movie or social media post or somebody who's trying to influence us away from our gifts to influence us into something that they know that, I don't want to say the word fail, but we might not be successful. And people do that sometimes, being cruel, knowing good and darn well that you're great at something, but they try to steer you away to the mundane. So I compiled a list of many things that we will see in other people. And we know that the world is filled with aspirations and dreams, so it's easy to get lost in the allure of fantasies that seem just out of reach. While ambition is admirable, there comes a time when the needle of reality pricks the bubble of illusion, bringing forth a harsh truth. But it's essential to recognize that when we're teetering on the edge of delusion and redirect our focus towards attainable goals that align with our talents and realities. I'm going to share 10 common fantasies that I picked. Number one, and we all know that dude. Maybe we were that dude. The aspiring pro athlete, dreaming of a career in professional sports despite lacking the physical attributes or skill set necessary. And what's the solution for that? Explore alternative avenues within the sports industry, such as coaching, sports management, or sports journalism, where talents can shine. Right. Because you have athletes that may not have been a good athlete, but they love the sport so much, they're a better coach, or even in management. And they're still in the sport, and it can be just as satisfying, if not more satisfying, right? Than actually getting out there on the field or in the boxing ring. Look how many people are involved in boxing that don't box. You got more people who are involved in the sport of boxing that don't box than the actual boxers. Think about that. And that goes with all sports. And I always bring up Bill Gallo, a sports writer and artist from back in the 70s, 80s. I'm not sure when he passed away, 90s. I think he passed away in the 2000s, 2014. I'm not sure. Bill Gallo, Google him. He's the one who did those black and white pictures, sketches, drawings with ink and a little pencil, black and white, of baseball players, football players. You know, I think they had this little thing that he did every week. Who was the GOAT? Who was the winner and who was the GOAT? Who was the person who did bad? And he would always, it was so funny because it looks just like them, but it was caricatures. And he did a lot of these black and white sketches of Muhammad Ali and different boxers in the 70s that were classic. And I'm an artist, and I have a similar style to him. And I harbored a secret desire to emulate him. Not copy him, because I have my own style, but it's similar. I mean, you go to a different state and you order pizza. You don't say, oh, this tastes like chicken. It tastes like pizza. It's just maybe slightly different. So since I'm 61 years old and dipped and dabbed in the backyard of friends and maybe sparred a little bit in a gym coming up, realizing that I don't really want to do this thing called boxing. My head feels funny. My head's so big it's an easy target. I could do better pushing the pen or the pencil, as my father always encouraged me to do, as well as my mother. But you didn't pursue that. I did a lot of other things, but now I'm at this time in my life where I have lots of time and tranquility. I'm going to become Bill Gallo 2.0 or 3.0. No, I'm really the original LANCESCURV. I'll stick with that. But I pay homage to those who have influenced me, right? But that aspiring pro athlete, there's other things you can do. So if you love something and you feel or find out that you don't have a talent for that at one area, get into it other ways. Get into it other ways. See, I don't want to put anybody down or discourage them, but I also want to give them a way out where they can still have fun, do what they love, and still get paid if they want to get paid or want to get into it. And you can do this long after, like as far as the athlete is concerned, long after an athlete ends his career. As athletes, you have some who they're freaks of nature and they go on long after the usual years or don't have as much injuries or different things. There's only one of those people, two of them, a handful in your lifetime. Number two, the overburdened parent, striving to pursue higher education while juggling the responsibilities of parenting without adequate support. It's good to push that way, but you got to get your sleep. You got to be able to have the funds for this. Now, you know, a lot of girls are out there going to school, going on OnlyFans. I don't suggest that, but all kinds of things. In the name of righteousness, we're doing unrighteous things, which is not good. It's not a good look or a good feel or good karma. But what's the solution? Seek out flexible educational options, online courses, or community resources that cater to parents, allowing for a balanced approach to personal and academic growth. There are people who I know found out the hard way. I'm not knocking college or university. I'm not knocking it at all, because there's certain professions you just can't go in there. I think I'm gonna be a good brain surgeon. Let me just check out the operation. I can do it. No, you're just not gonna do 4 years in a university to become that. You're going to medical school and 7 years of this and 4 years of that and this certificate. What? No. Then you might have a nervous condition and all of a sudden your hand is shaking. You know what I mean? Then you got to move into something else because unexpected things happen. So you can't be so focused, which focus is a good thing, but focus is only good when you're focused on the thing that you know you can do, right? And it might be several things you can do. Here's another one. The pursuit of unlikely relationships, longing for a romantic connection with someone incompatible or emotionally unavailable. There are people who pursue and get rejected, almost to the point of stalking somebody. What's the solution? Focus on building meaningful connections with individuals who share similar values and goals, prioritizing emotional compatibility over fleeting attractions. Sometimes back in high school or younger, you were just in love with this individual. Oh, when they stepped into the room, they were all you can see. And people who were sitting next to you, who were talking to you, they say something to you, and you're like, huh? Because time stopped. Your breathing stopped. Your heart was racing. But they weren't meant for you. You might pursue it or find yourself where they are. I want to be where you are. Oh. And you look back and you say, what was I thinking? As I learned who I was as a person, they weren't even someone who would appeal to me at this point. Let me tell you something. There was a young lady that she was 12 years old. I was 12 years old. And I had a serious crush on her. Oh my God. I can think back to the little boy that I was. I still got the little boy branch in me now on this tree called Scurv. There's just more branches. But I can recall that. I mean, just the sight of her. And if she glanced my way, I looked away. I was shy. Could you believe that? LANCESCURV shy? She made me shy. I wasn't always so assertive. I was always quiet but talkative around my friends. And then as an adult, I reconnected with her for a short time. And it was fireworks. But the fireworks only lasted for about 6 weeks to maybe 2 months. I'd say about 4 months, but the first 6 weeks were just like a tentative feeling out round. Like when boxers come out in the first round, they don't come out swinging. They do sometime, but it's like, let me get the rhythm of this person. And I didn't know she felt the same way about me. Lance, you were 12 years old, but I wanted to marry you then. I'm like, you felt that way? Then one day we met up and we walked around the mall, right? And this is in New York. And we stayed late. And then when we got to the parking lot, a lot of the cars were gone. So we were driving up out of there, you know, because she picked me up. Sometimes I pick her up, sometimes she picked me up because she drove too. And we were going past this lake, the park. Let's pull over and talk. Calamark, welcome back, brother. Welcome back. Glad to see you here. I told you I was going to come back. I said maybe tomorrow, but my voice is not going to last up. But I had to come back. Just tell a little story. So we pulled over. It went to what was known as a lover's lane. We knew what we were doing. And so we were talking. And then she suggested that we stretch our feet. Her vehicle was kind of big, you know, this big sedan. Let's stretch our feet and walk around a little bit, right around the vehicle, because it was late at night. So we did. So we leaned up against the car at one point when we came back, and we embraced and all that stuff, and my heart was racing again. So she popped the alarm and the lock and opened up the back seat of that car. Oh my God, that's all I can say. We were at it. Years and years of buildup, even though I didn't see her for a couple of years. It was fabulous. It was beautiful. I heard the angels. Ah! And it was hot and heavy for the next 2 months. And then I realized something was off. Very intelligent. She was in a very good paying field in the medical industry. But she had issues. And then mutual people that we knew, you know, who saw us, that we connected, that were even related to her, like, listen, we're not hating on you, but just be careful because she has issues. I said, what are you talking about? She has some serious issues. I'm not going to really put them out here because she might be listening. Life is life. It is what it is. But one day, she disappeared. And that's what she does. She gets along with people, not even just on a romantic level, but she'll move to a new state, right? Move to a different city, come back, connect with somebody, then leave. And before that, I noticed that there were things that she was saying that didn't make sense. She had some mental issues, but it would pop up like 1 out of every 10 parts, or 1 part crazy, 9 parts sane. Let's just put it that way. And I'm like, what does she mean by that? You know what I mean? But pursuing something sometime or forcing a situation because the past you had sparks, it ain't gonna work. And I had to learn that. Sometimes it just lets sleeping dogs lie. Number 5, the unrealistic body image. Striving for an unattainable standard of beauty perpetuated by media and societal pressures. Now we don't even try to get in the gym or eat better or do. Now we got filters. Now we have Photoshop, editing apps, all of these different things to make us look different. And I mentioned that before in the prior show today. We're being spoiled. We're being ruined. Everything leads to us being delusional, not putting in the work, not being focused and having discipline. Everything is instant. I thought it was bad when microwaves first came out and text messaging was first available. But no, everything is instant. Now you can get plastic surgery. Your internal organs are still toxic from all the bad food that you ate, but you're going to chop off your flesh, but not improve your body, not feed it better nutrition. Everything is instant. Oh man, look at that girl, man. She look fine. I'm going to reach out to her. Send a friend request and lie. Listen to the cheetah video that we did earlier, right? Nobody's real anymore. Everybody wants it instantly. And we'll even lie about ourselves to be appealing to somebody else, right? unrealistic body image. Solution: cultivate self-acceptance and appreciation for diverse body types, prioritizing holistic health and well-being over unrealistic ideals. Unrealistic ideals. Listen, ladies, if all you got is A cups, you are still beautiful. You may not want the issues that one who has D cups has. Stop thinking that the grass is greener on the other side of the fence. Yeah, Calamon, she just poofed. She went down to the south and moved to Texas and then connected with somebody and got high profile in a few months and resurfaced somewhere else. It's crazy. I think she's still doing it incognito, but she's not on social media anymore because it's too easy to trace your steps. Even her own family, like Lance, I tried to tell you. But I'm thinking when I was 12 years old that this person, I mean, I'm not thinking about the 12-year-old that I had a crush on. I'm saying that it started there. And your mind fills in the blanks with this fantasy. And it's not always that way. We have this thing about watching movies. We think, oh, life can be a movie. But where you have that a perfect ending. I'm not going to say happy ending because we can have happiness even when we're going through things. Like I said at the end of Neil Frazier's show, Metamorphosis, stay connected to yourself and love yourself. But a lot of us are looking for the answer outside of ourselves. Number 6, the instant success fantasy, expecting overnight success in career endeavors without putting in the necessary time, effort, and dedication. What's the solution? Embrace the journey of growth and development, understanding that sustainable success is built upon resilience, perseverance, and continuous learning. Stick-it-to-itiveness, loving the process. Let me tell you something. I'm going to say it like this. When I was involved in bodybuilding, now let me whip out the funky picture that I have, the old one that you're always playing. When I was involved in bodybuilding, right? I loved the process. I loved the process. Excuse the lack of the haircut, right? I don't know what I was thinking. But the process of it, I would be very let down, not depressed, but when this picture was taken and I won that whole competition, I felt down after it, right? I felt down. Why did I feel down? Because I loved the process. What was the next level? So when I do things, I project to the future. I don't project like 10 years ahead. Like I said, I was going to do a show again. I didn't do the 2 hours of work yet. I might not. I may be on the phone for the next hour and do a few things and do it in the morning and have another successful day creating content, several things a day. But I love the process. It's exciting to me. I don't want to just do one thing and that's it. When I do the one thing, I'm going to learn from those things and see what's behind it. There's so much to learn, so much to do. I'm excited when I wake up. I don't think it's going to be an instant thing. Now, you know, there's always that person. I'll just say it this way, in the so-called hood. You know, now they 67 years old, right? Still live. I'm not putting nobody down, right? I'm just painting the picture because we all know that this person. They've been living in that same apartment from when they was a teenager. Now, they didn't have it when they were a teenager, but you know, when you're in an apartment and my grandmama live here, and you know, mama live here, and I'm still here. But if she died, I'm gonna have to pay all this money. She's still alive, but I'm living here with her. And I'm like, wait a second. Resume, non-existent resume, did nothing, but instant success. When I hit the lottery, I'm going to buy myself a Rolls Royce, and I'm going to buy all the peoples around here houses, yeah, and I'm going to take that cruise I always wanted. What the hell is wrong with these people? Delusional. Those kind of people who don't aspire to do certain things that fall into the instant success fantasy. Let me tell you something. What's the song by En Vogue? Was it the early 90s? Never gonna get it, never gonna get it, never gonna get it. Oh, woo, woo, woo. I'm not being negative. But if you never tried to enjoy the process of attaining a goal or manifesting a vision, how are you going to do it sitting on your backside, not taking action, not creating momentum? All the years I've been doing these videos, it's easier for me to do it than most. It's easy. But after I did the show, I went and got something to eat. I threw this banner together. It was in my head. I'm like, let me put the needle by the balloon. Let me find an image of the skull. Let me put the word. I changed the title like 3 or 4 times. You know, reality is a needle that will always burst the bubble. I said, no, burst that bubble, a specific bubble. But I didn't put bubble in the title, but I show a balloon. Because visually, it's easier to get that image of the balloon to tack it on there. And we can identify with that. And this builds tension because the tip of the needle is right there, or touching the balloon. And you see the man behind him sitting in the movie theater all by himself, soaking in the fantasy of the movie, twisting his subconscious mind up so maybe he will be delusional. Why are you submitting your minds to what somebody has concocted? We talk about, when you're in the restaurant and you're around strangers, or you're in the nightclub, you might have some friends around, but you got a few strangers around. Never leave your drink and go to the restroom. Never leave your drink and come back and drink it. So why, if you're not an aware person, and I know everybody who pretty much listening to this in the chat room, you are aware. Why would you leave your subconscious mind open to absorb something that you don't know the ingredients that's in it? Come on now. We got all this influence in the media of the rainbow, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. Hey. But guess what? They're not as big and strong and powerful as a community, and I say that funny. Like they all down with each other, like they all in unison. But they kind of get what they want. But they're not as big and powerful as the posturing on the media makes it seem. But people submit to that now. Because, you can't talk about them. They'll make you lose your job. You got to be careful around them. As well as other groups who control the media. Right, Kanye West? Right. But we are submitting our minds. Like leaving that drink, right? Number 7, the financial windfall dream. Pinning hopes on a sudden financial windfall or get rich quick scheme without a solid financial plan. We all know that dude who always got the hustle. Yo, man, you ought to get down with this. I'm telling you, man, this one gonna work. Like the other 27 didn't work over the last 30 years. And they are just as enthusiastic, but they won't. These are dudes. I'm not saying you have to get a job, but it's a start. When you get the job, you're thinking beyond it. It's just a foothold to say, I'm going to get this paycheck. But don't submit to that and stop dreaming and having a vision. Now the job is going to swallow you up and you'll be just over broke. J-O-B. Huh? What's the lady's name back in 1986 or what, 87? Right? Nothing going on but the rent. You got to have a J-O-B if you want to be with me. What if the guy was a successful entrepreneur? Wasn't nobody back then saying, nothing going on but the rent? You better be an entrepreneur if you want to be with me. And too many bum, non-motivated people talk about, I'm an entrepreneur. Don't muddy that word with your lazy self, saying that's what you are, because that gives you leeway, and it's a vast, open-ended thing where it can mean anything. No, you're an entrepreneur. What are you doing? What area do you strive in and thrive in? well, you know, I ain't really do it yet, but you know what I'm saying? Anytime somebody talks and everything of the word is, you know what I'm saying? No, I don't. I'm trying to hear you say what you're trying to say. Make me know what you're saying or trying to express. Make me know. Don't keep saying that. I'm not giving you no pass. I'm an entrepreneur. I heard one other dude talk about, I'm a researcher. Out here in Ghana, I'm a researcher. And you sit on your porch all day, every day, doing nothing. What you researching? The toe jam under your nails? Too many of us are just, what's the solution for that? Practice prudent financial management, setting realistic financial goals, and prioritizing savings and investments for long-term stability. They don't want to hear that. They want the quick ghetto hustle just to get a little money that they can live on for 2 weeks. They don't think proper. They don't think stable. They don't do that. Number 8, the perfect life illusion. Chasing an idolized version of life portrayed on social media or in Hollywood films, neglecting the complexities and imperfections of reality. I see that out here a lot. I see it out here. Akwaba, which means welcome. I'm in Ghana. I'm living the perfect life. It's just everything's perfect. Everything is nice out here to me, but everything ain't perfect. If it gets near perfect, for me, it's because I made it perfect for me. What's perfect for you is not perfect for me, right? And it ain't never going to be perfect. But be happy with what you have. Always have something in front of you to strive for. And know yourself. See, I'm not superficial. I'm not a high maintenance person. I'm a simple person. And I don't mean simple like stupid, like, oh, he's simple. He ain't got no sense. Not that way. I can talk complex. I've been through complex situations in life. There's times I've had a little money in little stretches of my life. Most of the time I was comfortable. Lots of times in this life when I wasn't comfortable is because I purposely took myself out of the comfort zone to strive for more. And sometimes I slipped and I didn't fall all the way. I caught myself, but everything did not work out the way I wanted to. It's not just financial. It could be romantic. It could be something you strive for and went after. So you have to deal with these complexities and know to pick yourself up, brush yourself off, and keep on moving, right? What's the solution to the perfect life illusion? Cultivate gratitude for the blessings in one's own life, recognizing that true fulfillment comes from embracing authenticity and embracing life's ups and downs. Like I said, not to be gory, but for some of us, the day that we leave this earth, we don't even know it. We waking up jolly, talking about the plans that we're going to have next week and what we're going to do next month, whatever, and you're not in the moment. Because an hour from now, 2 hours from now, not to be gory, some will transition peacefully in their sleep. No, don't think about that. Think about now. Squeeze it out until the last moment. There's some people I know that don't even go outside. The bullets are flying out there. People driving crazy. I don't want to get hit. I don't want to catch a bullet. And you slip in the bathtub, bust your neck, and you leave this earth. It doesn't make any sense. Some people say, Lance, you're fearless. But yet, no, I'm not. I'm not foolish. But I'm not walking with fear. I'm not walking with fear. Number 9, the fantasy of endless youth. Clinging to the illusion of eternal youth and beauty, fearing the natural process of aging. There's so many like that. That's why you're spending so much money on these creams and these shots and, ding, ding, don't get hard no more. So, no. This body was made to expire. Not even a car. You don't see nobody talking about, yeah, I bought this car back in 1955 and just changed the oil and a little tune-up. It's got 19 million miles on it, and it's still going strong. The paint fades, The engine goes after a while. Certain things go. It's natural. Embrace it. It's a process. See, when we're at our physical peak, and may I say mental and spiritual peak, we all don't peak in those areas at the same time. And we peak in those areas, and this is a separate topic. It's hit me like, let me talk about that tomorrow when I wake up. Each topic brings other topics. After I do this, I'm gonna write it down, but it's gonna be a little different. But I'll say this, look at your life. Look at your life, right? I'm not saying it's like I'm condescending, like I'm some great guy and I'm looking down on you and you had some terrible life. I've had things happen to me I ain't even tell nobody yet. I'm gonna tell too. I got things to be shamed about. Not like I walk in shame, but it's like at the moment, it's like, you know, trust me, we've all had one-ply accidents on our fingers when sitting on the stool. Do you take a bullhorn and announce it? No, but it happens. We're human, right? But we have to see that reality for what it is. But when I said look at your life, you don't have to say it here, but assess. If you've lived long enough, if you're 12 years old watching this, then I can't help you. You got to live a little more life. If you're 25, 30, you can do it. More so if you're 45, 50, you're 60, 61 like me, 70, the longer the better. But think about when you were at your physical peak. If you are not approaching your physical peak, and maybe you're not there yet, maybe you're going to be at your peak at 27, 23, 35. And then also, look at your emotional maturity. Because we all, sometimes for us, on our scale, have been immature, right? Look at your knowledge base, which should always be growing, right? Your spiritual growth. All of these different things never peak all at one time. I was in shape. I was spiritually at my best, emotionally at my best. My brain, I was just so smart. I just peaked and it went downhill all from there. No. Some people get into certain things and they do good when they're in their 40s and their 50s. Some come out the box out of high school and boom. Again, I'm going to compare it to boxing. Callum is healing me. He'll understand and you'll understand too. Some guys, they like, let's take Mike Tyson, for example. When he was coming up, high action fighter, high output, high energy. He had to be. He was 5'10". He has to negate fighting those who have the reach and the height, 6'2" and long arm reach. So he's got to have perfect timing. He's got to come faster. He's got to have more power, use the leverage right, place the feet right. But guess what? The high energy fighters, if you notice, they have a peak or a stretch of success when they're younger. And as they get older, they have to adapt their style because they don't have this energy. One of the only examples that kind of goes against that is Manny Pacquiao. Because you ain't carrying your power from no flyweight up to no welterweight. No way. No way. And your head get bigger? Certain little things that you can take that can enhance you. Super supplements. You know, they call steroids that. Growth hormone. But the fighters that know the fundamentals and have a good reach and ability to take a punch and good defense, they'll have a longer career. See, Roy Jones, he depended on his athletic skills to get him over. He broke the rules in boxing. He was doing things that other people just couldn't do because of his athleticism. But as soon as, especially at the time when he got knocked out by Antonio Tarver, he wasn't the same. He was getting older. He came down from heavyweight, went up to win one of the titles and came down, drained himself. And he fought Antonio Tarver and he wasn't the same. He got knocked out. Then he kept getting knocked out. See, man, you're going to tarnish your image. But his reputation is written in stone, but he pushed it. He couldn't evolve. He was a high energy fighter. So we got to know what our individual propensities are so we can put ourselves out there in the right way instead of being delusional, right? And going after the wrong thing. Yeah, you're right, Landon. Manny doesn't stop. But he said he's scared of needles. That's a lie. That's a whole other show. Talking about boxing. Number 10, the comparison trap. Constantly measuring one's success and worth against others' achievements, leading to feelings of inadequacy and self-doubt. Solution: focus on personal growth and progress, celebrating individual strengths and accomplishments without comparison to others. I'm going to tell you this story all over again. This had to be 2007, 2008. When Facebook first came out in 2005, I wasn't interested in it. I was in a whole different world. Man, I was on Black Planet. I was drawing and writing. I didn't know nothing about no video, no social media, just Black Planet. I did pretty good. 352,000 followers on Black Planet way back then. Like I said, as the years rolled by and Barack Obama was around, Lil Wayne was around, I got a call from somebody at Black Planet who's a buddy of mine to this day. He said, we want to know who you are. How do you have all of these followers and you're not we don't want to say you're nobody, but you're not famous. You're not known for anything but little stuff that you do here. I said, I don't know. He said, listen, the only two popular people over you on Black Planet at this time is Barack Obama and Lil Wayne. I can't compete with that kind of fame. I just did what I did under a rock in my own corner of cyberspace. I didn't focus on the comparison trap. I don't focus on the comparison trap now. I do what I do, and I love the process. I love the process. Knock me down, I'll just keep going like the ants that rebuild the anthill. Knock it down again, I keep going. I keep swinging. I love the battle. I love the heat of the battle. I ain't got time to compare myself to somebody. I don't stand up in the urinal and peek over to see what the next man got if it's bigger than mine. I don't care what you got. I'm not into that. See? And that's what social media does to us. Not only are we being led and influenced to sometimes think that we can do things that are not in our genes, but we start comparing, and then we look at our life and say to ourselves, my life is not as good as this one, and I'm not doing as good, and I don't have as big a house as this person, and this person's in shape, and I look like I'm pregnant, and I hate this person because they're doing better than me. How you know they're doing better than you? You know how many people appear on a financial and worldly success level to be doing better than us? And we find out in the news that this successful person who owns several homes and had maids and groundskeepers and drivers, personal drivers, and they can fly to another state, and they what? And they put a bullet to their head. Sometimes we don't know what it was, but all the people I know that are happy, they wouldn't think about putting a bullet in their head. See? So stop comparing. You don't know. Let me read up my last paragraph and I'll say a few more words. It's crucial to acknowledge the role of media, social media, and Hollywood in shaping societal norms and perceptions, often presenting an idealized version of reality that fuels unrealistic aspirations. By cultivating awareness and discernment, individuals can reclaim agency over their lives, focusing on pursuits that align with their authentic selves and innate talents. Reality may not always be as glamorous as fantasy, but it offers the grounding and a fulfillment that eludes those lost in illusion. Don't be that person lost in illusion. Think about the people in your lives. You're not putting them down. You're assessing them. Look in the mirror and assess yourself. I'm always assessing myself. And I have to say that I have someone in my life who I could never, ever afford to pay for the professional advice that they give me, because in my mind, in that world that they're in, they are iconic. They're the real deal. They're not at the epicenter of that industry. They're at the center, but a little bit to the side. And we're kindred spirits. And even though I'm on a little level, I'm a retired dude in the mountains of Ghana with a little YouTube page, starting out all over again. But the appreciation that I have for her and what she so freely gives to me. Now, this ain't no sex thing, ain't no romantic thing. This is a brotherly, sisterly thing. I truly appreciate it. But I had to make room by removing the delusional entities that wanted to jockey for a position. What position you jockeying for? Why are you looking for attention? This is only YouTube. Here today, gone tomorrow. You know how many videos I can pull up of people I used to watch on YouTube that are deceased now? Understand, all of us who, whether we like to watch it or if we're a content creator or both, I have people that I follow. I watch them. Sometimes they evolve into something I don't agree with and I leave them alone. Sometimes they get better. Sometimes I don't like this person, and they turn around and evolve into something. I'm like, man, they're on point. But whatever your participation is on social media, don't get caught up in the whole delusional thing, because there's going to come a time when you make your last video. There's going to come a time when you send your last email. There's going to come a time when you make your last comment. So use this thing to extract from it in the information shared on a realistic level, to use it as a tool to build a good life, a real life that keeps you in the moment. Not like some people sitting in the movie theater escaping from their reality. Well, I guess that's cool when you have the righteous filter over your brain and you can dissect and pick apart what's good and what's bad. But most out here are mindless. Do you have a bunch of mosquitoes flying around your house and you just open the windows and go to sleep? You done ate half a watermelon and your veins are full of sugar. What you think is going to happen? Don't be delusional. Oh, the Lord's going to take care of the mosquitoes. They're just going to not come in. 5 days later, you sitting up somewhere with malaria. Please. And you don't want that. I know all about malaria. Y'all know I do. But the bottom line is, like I said, don't let it pull you away. Don't let all these distractions out here, because at the end of the day, it's you and the people who love you, who truly want to see you do better. See, we can have large numbers of people around us. And the majority of them, the overwhelming majority of them, they ain't pulling for you. They trying to pull from you. And you have those faithful ones who really want to see you go higher, just as you want to see them go higher. They're very few. You're not going to sit here and try to be paranoid and try to figure things out. Listen, in this journey called life, you will have some that stay the course, and you'll have some that fall off. And it doesn't mean they were a bad person. It doesn't mean they hated you. Nothing lasts forever. But the memories that you make and you create as we get chronologically older will always be fresh in our mind. And it's those victories that we can draw from and go into other areas and to discover other talents that we have. When you look within for the answer, you'll get those answers a whole lot quicker than when you look outside. Yes. Yes. Yeah, thank you, Brother Landon, for that wonderful comment. And I'm going to sign off now. Well, first, I'll just, like I promised, I'll drop a link if anybody wants to say anything. That makes the show extra unique because you put your footprint, your thumbprint. Made it unique. Let me drop this. If nobody comes in, it's okay. It's quite all right. Do this here. All right. There's the link right there. If you want to say something for a few moments, it's okay. But yeah, number one, take care of yourself, love yourself. Always try to make it where you are incrementally better tomorrow than you were today. Incrementally better today than you were tomorrow. Even if it's just a tiny little inch. When we have good days, we say, man, we're going to ride this out. We're going to go with this till the wheels roll off. True. But what about those days when you're stuck in the traffic jam? Not the real traffic jam, but just in that personal traffic jam where it just seems like you don't have it. Man, I was feeling so good yesterday. Now I'm walking up and down. I can't make up my mind what I have to do. Go back and lay down. Think. Or just not think for a little while. This world is full of pressure to always do. I push myself, but there's sometimes I'm like, I ain't doing nothing today. I'm just going to sit on the balcony and stare off and watch the birds fly by and sip on some iced tea. And you know what? I do that for an hour. I jump up and I'm enthusiastic to do something. But you don't wrestle with that. You don't doom yourself. What's wrong with me? I just can't. No. Release yourself. Release yourself, self. Remember that jam? Back up. Come out of the funk. You see? That's what you need to do. So yes, I'm going to sign off. I'm going to play around a little bit. There's a lot of stuff I have to do on this computer. And you know what? It ain't going to get done tonight. I'm going to enjoy the deepest slumber and wake up rejuvenated. And it's late for me. I usually go to bed at the latest 9 o'clock, wake up at 4. But there's certain things I don't have to do early tomorrow, but I will. I'm going to wake up. I'm going to wake up. I ain't waking up at no 4 o'clock in the morning, no. But we're going to make some good content and the things that I want to talk about. And I'm always open to talk about things also. So just know that we're in this journey of life together. We share ideas, suggestions, and sometimes there are people who like watching. You know, it's okay. We chill there. Some people come to me with emails. Man, I've been watching you for like the last 15 years. Like, whoa. For real? And now you're just saying something? That's the way it is. You never know who's listening. So carry yourself exuding the best that you are, because you never know. A lot of ladies out there, I can't wait to meet Mr. Right. It just seems like it's never going to happen. But if you walk around looking angry and pissed off all the time, you might be scaring them away. Right? You never know who's watching. So be at your best. Much love to you all. Always hit LANCESCURV.com. Thank you for being here. And we're going to rock tomorrow. Peace.
Make sure to go to LANCESCURV.com, an online magazine established in 2001, containing written articles, thousands of talk shows and discussions, cutting-edge cartoons, as well as erotic expressions and tasteful adult photography. It's definitely not for the faint of heart. Once you get a taste of the world of LANCESCURV, trust me, you'll be back for more. LANCESCURV.com. Bold, raw, and uncut.